Hey guys, what's going on? It's Ash here coming at you today in Raid Shadow Legends. Today we're going to rank our top 10 champions for Clan Boss who are in the epic rarity. Now, I did the top 5 rare champions in the game video, but honestly, these are so niche, right? You almost have to have a different tier ranking and list for each kind of element of the game. Where are you playing them? Arena, Dungeons, Dragon's Lair, Clan Boss, Ice Golem, Fire Knight, etc., campaigns, right? Because there's so many different use case scenarios for these champions that, and some champions might be incredibly well suited for Clan Boss, such as Occult Brawler, who we'll be talking about in a minute, whereas he's not very good in other areas of the game. So it's not going to be in order because, again, with these champions, it always depends on the champions with them and the role that you want that one specific champion to play. So to rank, a Tyrell over an Occult Brawler, it all depends on, what you need out of that champion given the composition of the team around them. So they won't be ranked from 1 to 10, just 10 epic champions who I feel like are just top tier for Clan Boss. Let's go ahead and start out with Tyrell. So Tyrell is a Magic Affinity champion. He's widely considered to be one of the best, if not the best, epic champion inside the entire game. I certainly put him top 3 on my list. I don't know who I put alongside him, but I'm a big fan of Miscreated Monster and Madame Cerise, so I think it's kind of a toss-up there. Miscreated and Madame Cerise are great for Clan Boss, but they don't make my top 10. They're just like probably in 10 to 15 range. But either way, let's go ahead and talk about what makes Tyrell so amazing. Well, it's easy, right? His A1 Humble and his A2 Singing Steel both have an ability that you really need against Clan Boss, especially as you get further in difficulty, right? At Nightmare and Ultra Nightmare Clan Bosses. And his Humble has a decreased attack on the Clan Boss. And on the A2, Singing Steel, he has the strong version of decreased defense. So the strong version of decreased defense and the decreased attack, two, again, incredibly important debuffs that you can land on the Clan Boss. And then, on top of that, his aura increases, ally defense in all battles by 25%, and defense percentage is one of the biggest and strongest stats that you want to have built up for all of your champions going into Clan Boss. Defense matters a ton, even more than hit points. So that's why Tyrell is a Clan Boss beast. I think a lot of people would rank him number 1. Again, if we were ranking them, just because you can use Tyrell in early levels, in mid game and end game Clan Boss equally. He can just get the job done in terms of defense and debuffs. That's why he's our number 1 champion. Let's go on to number 2. So next up is going to be Skull Crusher. Skull Crusher is great because he's the only non-legendary counterattack champion in the game at the time of this recording. On his A2, he has a counterattack. The only other champions in the game are Valkyrie and Martyr, who have that counterattack on all allies. So you can build a kind of a speed-tuned counterattack team around your Skull Crusher. It will almost guarantee increase your Clan Boss damage. That's why people get so excited when they pull a Skull Crusher. And as you guys can see, he has the Ally Protect here, going to be soaking up 50% of the damage your allies receive, helpful on those AoEs. Also, he has an unkillable buff to help keep him alive as well. You want to build him with a lot of defense and make sure HP defense is there, sustainability, and just make sure he's going last out of your team. That way you're getting maximum value out of those counter attacks. And of course, check out my speed tune guide on Clan Boss if you want to know how to kind of fine tune your team speed to suit Skull Crusher as that counterattack champion. Let's go on to number 3. So next up is Occult Brawler. Occult Brawler is one of the most consistent poison layers inside the entire game. And it's all about not his A2, which is, feel free to read it or check out my Occult Brawler guide. But we're going to be really talking about his A1 and his passive. So his A1 attacks one enemy, 50% chance of placing the strong version of poison for 2 turns. That can be booked up to a 60% chance. But it's really about his passive. His passive is insane. The second line of his passive, 70% chance of placing a 5% poison debuff on a random enemy for 4 turns at the start of every turn. Again, tons of poisons being laid down by Occult Brawler, one of the best poisoners, certainly the best epic poisoner in the game. And, in terms of consistency, landing poisons, the best in the game in terms of overall poisons. I noticed, I'll link it below, but Hell Hades put out a video where he compared all the poisoners just in terms of how many poisons they can get on the target, and Occult Brawler came out number 1. Anyway, let's go on to number 4. So number 4 is Rearguard Sergeant, another Force Affinity champion here. She is a dwarf, and she has, similar to Tyrell, she has the decreased defense, this time on the A1 instead of the A2, whereas Tyrell has it on the the reverse, you know. And then on the A2, Flail Master, that's right, she has the decreased attack on there as well. Now, they're not guarantees. It is a 75% chance of landing that decreased attack. It's on a 3-turn cooldown when booked. And on the A1, attacks one enemy, it's a 50% chance when booked of placing that decreased defense. So not as consistent as Tyrell, so I would not rank her quite as high, but she does have this great ability on her A3 as well. Can be booked down to 3 turns, fend them off, 50% ally protect, and 15% continuous heal buff on all allies except this champion for 2 turns. So helps with the overall survivability of the team as well. That's why she comes in at number 4. Next up is Juliana. Juliana is a Sacred Order Magic Affinity champion, and she is an absolute beast. She's unique because she does both poison on the A2. You can see places a 30% increased crit rate on herself, then places a 5% poison debuff on the target for 3 turns if the attack is critical. So of course you're making sure she's at 100% crit rate, or rephrase, 70% crit rate, because it has a 30% increased chance on this champion. And then she's going to be placing that poison, the strong version of poison, every time. Then on the A3, this is a really cool ability too. Attacks one enemy, removes 1 random buff from the target, has a 75% chance, can be booked up to 100 of placing an HP burn debuff for 3 turns. Really, really cool to have the HP burn for 3 turns. 5-turn cooldown though cannot be booked with the strong version of poison on the A2. You know, having the HP burn and the poison, the strong version, on one champion is a great DPS damage dealer option for Clan Boss. That's why Juliana definitely makes the list inside the top 10. So sticking with the poison dealers, guys, we have Aothar. Now, Aothar is not as highly ranked, in my opinion, as like a Cult Brawler or a couple other champions, but because his A2 is great, attacks 4 times at random, so 4 times on Clan Boss. Each hit places a 5%, so the big boy version of poison, for 2 turns, though. So it's a 2-turn poison on a 3-turn cooldown when booked. You definitely have to book him to get full value out of him, but hey, this A2 definitely lays a lot of poisons. And notice how it's not each attack has a 50% chance of landing the poison. It's a 100% chance, providing his accuracy is high enough. So it's the big version of poison, and it's 4 times, and you get a poison on all of those. Granted, the poisons are only 2 turns as opposed to like Occult Brawler's passive, which is a 4-turn poison. So just keep that in mind. Otherwise, he's a really solid champion, and definitely used a lot inside Clan Boss as a 4.9 rating. So next up is Jarek. Jarek is really good Magic Affinity, and he is a great support. He's an epic HP based. His damage is based on attack though, but check it out here, guys. Decrease attack on his A1, 35% chance, can be booked up all the way to 60% chance. And then on his A2, Pack Leader places a 50% ally protect and a 60% increased defense buff on all allies for 2 turns. That can be booked down to 4 turns. And then on his passive is really cool too. Plays a 15% continuous heal buff on an ally for 1 turn whenever an ally loses 20% of their max HP in 1 hit. So basically every single time an AoE attack from the Clan Boss is landed. Really cool abilities. And then has an ally HP in all battles by 33%, which if you don't have that defensive aura, you can definitely lead your group with Jarek. So let's go ahead and see. He's also a 4.9 great Clan Boss epic champion. So next up is Steel Skull. What would a Clan Boss video be without Steel Skull, guys? He's a great healer, and he also has a defense up. Check out his A3 to start with. And, well, let's start with his A1, because he also lands poisons. This guy really does it all. Has a great kit for Clan Boss, right? So it can be booked up to a 35% chance of placing the strong version of poison on his A1. And then he removes all debuffs from a target ally and heals them by 40%. That can be on a 3-turn cooldown when booked. And then his A3 protection places a 60% increased defense buff on all allies for 2 turns, and then heals all allies by 20% of their max HP, again on a 4-turn cooldown. Definitely one of the strongest healers inside the game, and on his aura is just defense and faction crit. So not going to help you out in Clan Boss, but definitely just a beast of a healer, plus that poison definitely deserves a spot here on the list. Next up is Irani's. Irani's is really good. She is a debuff extender. She's a great part of a poison team, specifically against Clan Boss. On their A1, she has the 100% chance of placing the strong version of poison when she is fully booked up. And then on the A2, attacks all enemies, 75% chance of increasing the duration of all debuffs on the target by 1 turn. This can be booked down to 4 turns. So really, really solid, extending the debuffs on all the debuffs on your Clan Boss, not just the poisons, but also the decreased attack and the decreased defense as well. So definitely a really, really solid Clan Boss champion. That's definitely her specialty, as we can see on her reviews here. So guys, last up is a champion that I just love. He's brand new, and he only has 2 abilities plus a passive, which is just so cool. You can see only 44 reviews. He's getting a 4.7 in Clan Boss so far, but still small sample size, and it is Stag Knight. So Stag Knight is a Banner Lord. On his A1, just hitting 2 times, a chance at decreased speed, whatever. On the A2, though, attacks all enemies. It can be a 100% chance of placing a 60% decreased defense debuff and a 50% decreased attack debuff for 2 turns. So essentially just exactly what Tyrell does. That can be booked down to a 3-turn cooldown, and then places a 50% increased accuracy buff on 1 ally for 1 turn each time an ally has a debuff resisted by an enemy, which is really cool because you put them with a poison layer in your group, and they're gonna get that increased accuracy all the time whenever a poison is resisted, which actually happens more often than not, especially when you go, not more often than not, but it happens from time to time, better way to put it, especially when you get into harder difficulties with higher resist on the clan bosses. So that's going to do it, guys. Do you agree or disagree with my list of top 10 epic champions for Clan Boss? Let me know in the comments below, and let me know if you want me to do another video like this for a specific area inside the game. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, take care, guys.